The road to greatness. Ethan Carter had always known he was meant for something greater. Growing up in Maplewood, a quiet town in the Midwest with a population small enough for everyone to know each other's business, he often felt like a bird trapped in a cage too small for its wings. His father, a factory worker, spent long shifts at the plant, coming home exhausted and silent. His mother worked 2 jobs, cleaning houses during the day and waitressing at the local diner at night. Money was always tight, and dreams were a luxury they couldn't afford. Ethan wasn't the star athlete or the top student. He was the kid who spent hours in the library, devouring books about people who had changed the world: entrepreneurs, inventors, athletes, and artists. He believed that if they could do it, so could he. But in Maplewood, dreams tended to stay just that, dreams. "You're wasting your time," his father often told him. "People like us don't get to live like that." That was the hardest part, knowing that even the people who loved him the most didn't believe in his dreams. Ethan's senior year of high school came with a storm of challenges. His father lost his job at the factory when it shut down, leaving the family in financial crisis. The bills piled up, and college seemed like an impossible dream. One evening, Ethan overheard his parents arguing. "We don't have the money," his mother said. "He'll have to get a job after high school." Ethan clenched his fists. Was this his fate? To work dead-end jobs, struggling paycheck to paycheck? He refused to accept that. Determined to change his future, he started working at the diner after school, saving every penny. But working late nights and studying during the day took its toll. His grades slipped, and exhaustion settled into his bones. Then came the final blow. His college applications were rejected, every single one of them. His low grades and lack of extracurricular achievements made him an unappealing candidate. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt like giving up. One night, while cleaning up at the diner, Ethan met an old man who often sat at the corner booth. His name was Mr. Dawson, a retired entrepreneur who had built a successful business from scratch. "You look like a kid carrying the weight of the world," Mr. Dawson observed. Ethan hesitated but then poured out his frustration. "I tried, but nothing worked. I guess people like me just don't get to make it." Mr. Dawson smiled. "Son, the only way you don't make it is if you quit. You don't need a fancy college degree to be successful. You need resilience, creativity, and a willingness to work harder than anyone else." Ethan listened, intrigued. "Tell me," Mr. Dawson continued, "what are you good at? What do you love doing?" Ethan thought for a moment. He had always been fascinated by business, how companies grew, how entrepreneurs turned ideas into reality. He read every business book he could find. "That's your edge," Mr. Dawson said. "Start small. Learn. Adopt. Keep going." Inspired, Ethan started looking for ways to make money and build something of his own. He noticed that many small businesses in town lacked an online presence. So, he taught himself web design through free online courses and started offering his services. At first, nobody took him seriously. But he didn't quit. He designed free sample websites for a few businesses, proving his skills. Soon, word spread, and his first paid client came along. Then another. He reinvested every dollar back into his business, buying better software, learning new skills, and marketing his services. The business grew slowly, but Ethan remained relentless. He woke up at 5 a.m. every day, worked on his projects before his shift at the diner, and stayed up late refining his skills. Months passed, and his side hustle turned into a full-time business. He was making more money than he ever imagined, and for the first time, he felt in control of his destiny. Despite his success, doubts crept in. Some people in town dismissed his work as a phase. Others mocked him for not going to college. Even his father remained skeptical. "Real jobs have stability," his father warned. "This internet stuff. It's not a real career." Ethan wanted his father's approval, but he also knew he couldn't live his life based on someone else's fears. "Just watch," he told himself. "I'll prove them wrong." One day, Ethan got an email from a business owner in a nearby city. The man had seen one of Ethan's websites and wanted him to redesign his company's online store. The project was worth more money than Ethan had ever earned in a single job. He worked tirelessly, making the website his best work yet. When he delivered it, the client was thrilled and recommended Ethan to other business owners. The floodgates opened. Within a year, Ethan had built a thriving web design agency, hiring a small team to handle the growing workload. His company went from a struggling side hustle to a six-figure business. And then, the moment he had dreamed of arrived. One evening, while Ethan was finalizing a contract with a major client, his father walked into his home office. "I was wrong," his father admitted. "You built something real." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. For the first time, his father was proud of him. Years later, Ethan's business had expanded nationwide. But he never forgot where he came from. He started a mentorship program, helping other young people from small towns learn digital skills and start their own businesses. He went back to Maplewood High to speak to students, telling them what he wished someone had told him. "Your background doesn't define your future. Your failures don't define you. The only thing that matters is whether you keep going." As he stood in front of a group of eager students, he saw himself in their eyes, dreamers waiting for someone to tell them they could make it. And in that moment, he realized he had become the person he once needed.